Hi, welcome to In a Pickle Knitting. This is the regular podcast. And as you may know, I'm filming Vlogmas this holiday season as well. But this is my December podcast, and we will have a short one today, partially because of the Vlogmas where I'm doing children's literature. I'm not going to feature a book today, as I've just filmed a Vlogmas with a book. So I will be leaving out one of our fiber-related stories for this particular episode. And also I don't have as much to show you, so that's going to slow it down. I have 2 finished objects and 2 works in progress. So let's go ahead and get started with those. Oh, and today is December 6th, and it is Wednesday, and I'm coming to you from Northern Virginia. So my first finished object is the bobble hat, which again is I've been trying to work on improving my techniques and tension with the Fair Isle knitting. And the hat is finished. You can see, I shouldn't get too close. I did it with a Malabrigo yarn in the lettuce colorway. This is Malabrigo Rios, and this is the lettuce colorway. The white is the Malabrigo Rios, I think cream. And then the blue is a Plymouth worsted yarn, and I think they have numbers. It's on my project page if you really want to know. This hat is hard to display because once I put this heavy pom-pom on, it keeps slipping off of my styrofoam head form. So I finally gave up. It just tips over every time. So I'm not happy with this here because there's long floats behind the white, and it's black behind the white, and I think this would have worked better for me. I did the pattern modification where you used fewer stitches and a little bit fewer in the way of repeats going around. I think for me, I should have gone with the original pattern and aimed for super tight gauge, and then maybe that wouldn't have shown behind. But anyway, it's done. It's another opportunity for me to practice, and I'm going to keep right on practicing, probably on a pair of mittens from the Selbu Mitten Club that I'd been working on before. But for right now, I don't have anything on the needles that would be any stranded knitting. So my second finished object is a pair of socks. They are my Christmas socks this year, and I used sun-soaked yarns by Jody in the Christmas Tencel colorway. It's a 75/20 superwash merino nylon blend with 5% silver stellina on a sock yarn, a fingering weight yarn. So here they are. Get back a little bit so you can see the whole thing. The pooling is started off with this swirl, and then I reduced my stitches because this part of my foot is more narrow anyway, so I didn't need it for fit, and I liked the way it was coming out here. But then when you start doing the heel with those all those extra gusset stitches on there, then it pulled differently again, and then back down to the foot. I'm happy with that part. I did use this set included this contrast mini, which is, you can see it's not a stellina. See if we can, I have enough sun in here. I should be able to get a little sparkle at the stellina. I think you can tell a bit that it has stellina. I wasn't crazy about this, but then again, that part's down in your shoe. So their fit is good. I should be perfectly happy with them. I do have this extra and another smaller amount. From the smaller one, I have already knit a little sock out of this without any contrast heels. It's an ornament, but I sent it to my parents. I sent them an advent box to open this year, so I needed to have it in the mail long before and I didn't even take a picture. But I'm going to make another couple, I think, out of this, so that I can put one on my tree and maybe give one to my daughter for her tree. So that's my second finished object, my Christmas sock. And I am going to be putting it into this box, which is Christmas themed box. And if you watch the Stranded podcast with Amy Florence, the dyer for Stranded Dye Works, she's doing 25 pair of Christmas socks. I don't have aspirations to that point. One, because I wouldn't wear 25 pairs because the weather is just not conducive to it here in Virginia. Right now I have no shoes on, no socks on, and a pair of shorts on, and it is in December. My house is, thermostat is set for 68, so I don't need any socks on, but I love having Christmas socks, and of course at night, and it has been cool at night, and I've worn some wool socks in December, but not all day, so I don't need 25 pair, but I think I could have 7 or 8 pair, and this is kind of a big box. In that box already are the ones that I did last year for Christmas. This is the Cozy Knitter gingerbread socks, and I love these. They were an afterthought heel, 2 at a time, cuff down sock. And I didn't say these were 2 at a time, not an afterthought heel, just contrast heels, cuffs and toes, 2 at a time, and it was a size 1 needle. I don't remember the needle on this, but it's on my project page. I have a project page for almost every single thing. Not for that little ornament I did, but for almost every other thing. But I have 3 other skeins of yarn, and these are ones that I will maybe work on this year to have for next year. And the first is, this is Feliz Navidad colorway. It starts either with green and white and goes to white and then red and white, or you can start the other way. I made a pair of these last year, but I had ordered, you order them, they're already caked up this way from Circus Knit Yarns, and I'd ordered the small set, and I started top down, and then I actually needed to cast off because I ended up with very little left over, and they weren't big enough for me, but they fit my daughter perfectly, so she has them. So then I ordered the medium set for me, and I just haven't gotten to do that yet, but I want to do that. And then I just received this recently, and by Felt Fusion. Sorry for there we go, a little bit better. Felt Fusion, and this is called the Whoville colorway. So Dr. Seuss, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, or The Grinch Stole Christmas, if I have that wrong. This is a merino nylon superwash sock base. It's kind of plump. It has 365 meters in 100 grams, so some have a little less, a little more yardage, so they're a little thinner. So I love that. I love pink, so the pinks and greens. Green's my favorite color, and yeah, perfect. And then I ordered this from the the Creative Obsession, Carrie. She has a podcast, and she dyes yarn. She's immensely talented, a quilter. She's just amazing. And this colorway is called Slothmas. So you got Vlogmas, this is Slothmas, and it's a sparkle sock base, 75-20, 5%, 75-20 superwash merino nylon, and 5% silver stellina, which is a little hard to pick up here maybe. I can see it fine in real life, but I think it's kind of hard to see today on the camera. I've got so much sun in here today. But my grandson is taking his nap right now. He is not well. He was fine yesterday, woke up from his nap vomiting, and so he's not doing so well. He didn't have a good night's sleep, so he's taking an early nap, and I thought I got to buzz in there and do this now while I have the chance to do it. So hopefully I'm not speed talking here for you. So that's what I have plans for in the future. Now, what do I have on the needles right now? First of all, I have I'm test knitting for Becky at Socks for Mum. She has a podcast, Socks for Mum, M-U-M, the British spelling. And she also designs patterns. And she is doing a club. It's the Wonderland Club. So she's basing it all around the Alice in Wonderland theme. And she's selling it as a collection, which the first pattern should be released December 22nd. And her idea, I believe, was that anybody participating, perhaps if Danny from Little Bobbins does her Christmas Eve cast on, that this might be a sock that you could cast on. So she asked me if I would test knit. And this is her pattern, Wonderland, a Socks for Mum design, and she is on Ravelry. And you can see it's a lacy sock with a ribbed, the back side of the leg is ribbed. So here is mine. I have just turned the heel, but not picked up any gusset stitches yet. And you can see, I'll turn it this way just because it's easier to see this beautiful rib, which is going to help it fit. It would stretch out or contract in. And also the lace helps it to fit if you were gift knitting. You know, it's kind of hard sometimes for gifts. But you see that gorgeous lace pattern, and it is such an easy memorizable repeat. I love that when I can memorize it. And I actually am not that great at memorizing patterns. So I love it. So I really need to get going on this, but some things have been holding me back from doing as much knitting as I'd like. And then, of course, yesterday I had plans and ended up with a sick little guy for the afternoon. And I am using Hedgerow yarns. I love Hedgerow yarns. I knit my favorite pair of socks out of some Hedgerow yarn. This, though, is a different base I'd never used before. It is in the colorway Faded Denim, which I think is very aptly named. It looks a little lighter on my screen than this, but that's the best I can do today. It is a silky twist. It is 80% superwash merino, 20% silk. I have never knit with this combination of 80-20 with silk and not for socks, so I'm going to experiment with wear. I'm really liking the yarn to knit with. It's slides so nicely on the needles. So I'm very happy with how these look. When I saw the pattern, she had done it blue with some speckle, I believe, and I thought, I really see Alice for Blue, maybe just that Disney image with the blue dress or blue apron. Maybe the apron might be white, the dress is blue. And I thought, oh, blue, but I didn't have anything that color, and I was browsing and saw this and ordered it. And then when Becky asked me to test knit, my yarn wasn't here, so I didn't get an early start on it, which I feel bad about, but I really wanted to use that yarn since I had ordered it and specifically for that purpose. So it came and I got started, and hopefully, and I'm only doing one at a time, and that was again because I got a little bit of a late start. I at least want to get through one sock so that, you know, that'll test the pattern to get all the way through at least one sock. So I'm not doing my usual 2 at a time, but I will be anxious to cast this on. I might suffer from second sock syndrome in that sometimes I'm ready to do something else because I finished something, but I never give in to it, ever. I cast the next one on and I get it done because I want the finished sock. So I'm not someone who's ever let it languish, even if mentally it's like, okay, but I want to do something else now. I won't. So my second work in progress is one that I did show you last time, and I haven't made much progress on it, which saddens me because I'm really, I love the pattern and I'm enjoying the knit so much, and I just reached the fun part. This is the Tulle shawl, and it's part of Knit Vent, which is a Helen Stewart Curious Handmade event where during the holiday season she puts together 5 or 6 patterns. You buy it as a package, and then every Thursday she gives you the next pattern, and most things are designed to be knit rather quickly, so you could actually do something every week. This is a single skein shawl, and I had a skein that I thought would be perfect for it. It is beaded. I love to bead shawls, so it was absolutely perfect. And I will pull this out. Let's see, this is the front, and the top is just garter stitch as you increase until you get to here. I hope you can see these beads here. Yeah, my beads match this so closely, but I think once it's blocked, you know, they may not show exactly, but I think they will definitely provide some sparkle. So really enjoying this knit, and I want to get back to it. These are the beads that I'm using. They're the Toho. There we go. So you can see they're a light iridescent kind of pink, which the yarn was too. And let me get my yarn, the ball band out here. Julie Aslin, and I won't say that right, so you can look at it. 90% superwash merino, 10% silk. So it feels very nice. The colorway name is Romance, And I think that shawl has a rather romantic look to it. So those are my 2 works in progress. Let me see, and I said no book today, and I talked about my plans for some Christmas socks. Oh, excuse me, I wanted to show you something else. I'm keeping my Alice socks, well, Wonderland is the pattern name, in this gorgeous Merry Christmas bag. You'll notice this detail around the stars. It's been almost like a freehand stitch has been done around here, and on the back as well. This bag, which is a large bag, I'm putting all my Christmas knitting in here, has a lovely little snowflake progress keeper on it, and a little ribbon drawstring, and a beautiful star lining and a pocket. And you will see this is from Craft House Magic by Ellie, and she has an Etsy shop. She's in the UK, and she has a podcast. I love her podcast. She is the most talented of people, not just knitting, sewing. She does bobbin lace that is amazing. So I started watching her from the very beginning of her podcast, and I just love every time she puts something out. She's now hand dyeing yarn as well. So check out her Etsy shop. When I ordered this, she sent me the bag. Where did they go? She sent me some stitch. Here they are. She sent me a little gift for you guys. So here's her card where she embroidered this design and had it made into her business card. And I don't want to take it out of this packet. They are some sheep progress keepers and stitch markers. So we're going to add this to a giveaway. I have one in mind right now that it'll be part of a little package giveaway. So that's Craft House Magic podcast and Etsy shop, and she has a website too. So the next thing I want to do is I thought I am going to show you my box of socks that I've been doing for this year. So this is with the Yarngasm podcast. Kristen from Bull and Vine Yarns hosts the Yarngasm podcast, and for the past, I know she did it last year and she's done it this year. I'm assume she might do it again next year. You knit a 12 pair of socks in the year for yourself, so that at the end of the year you have a box of socks. So it's called Box O Socks. And you have to, in the post at the end to qualify for prizes, put your socks in a box. She doesn't care what kind of box, but it has to be in a box. So I thought I would use this box. I want to show you the top of it. This is an old box, and the sides. My father-in-law made this for my mother-in-law as a sewing box. So when you opened the lid, it then had a little tray that sat down that had places to put spools of thread. And she wasn't a sewer, she didn't have a machine, but you know, hand sewing, sewing on buttons, hemming, things like that. She used her sewing box for that, and she did use it for many, many years. And unfortunately, when you opened it, it smelled of, I don't know, it smelled a lot like their house, but I am hypersensitive to smells, and certain smells will just actually make me nauseous, and I can get sick from it. And it was one that I couldn't take the smell, so I spray painted the inside, and that got, I sat it outside forever. I cleaned it, I did all kinds of things, but it was wood, so you know, you can only do so much. And but I did spray paint it. Now it doesn't even smell like spray paint right now. It's fine. So I have my socks from this year in here, and so kind of in order: January and into February, March, and April. These I started back in February but didn't finish. May I did several, and June, July. These were the most recent, so I guess I started going up this way. But I will have room in here, if I squish a little bit, to put the newest pair of socks, the Christmas socks, although I'll probably go over, I guess that's weird, you can just see my mouth, sorry. I will probably put the Christmas socks in the Christmas box instead, and I will put the Wonderland socks right in here. So those will be my box of socks. It's more than 12, which I'm very pleased with. I had set myself several goals for the year, technique-wise, doing some toe up, which isn't my favorite, and I did, and doing some lace socks, and I wanted to try different heels, which I've done. I had meant to do this spiral heel, where I think you start at the heel and then work out. I didn't do that. And so that'll be something that maybe I'll add again next year, but I have a few different goals for next year with socks as well. I want to do those Christmas ones. I also have a lot of self-striping yarn, so I want to use a lot of self-striping yarn. I might do 12 pair and put them in as a box of socks, and I also want to do a lot from my sock blanks. I've bought those yarns, and I am not about buying it and not using it. I always have a plan when I buy something. It just doesn't look like it because I find life doesn't give me enough time to knit. But I don't want stash beyond my life expectancy, and considering my age, I probably am already there. So let's see. We need to do some giveaways. But before I get to the giveaways, I'm actually going to put those at the very end. I do want to tell you about something that I never thought I would do. I really never thought I would do this. But I've decided to give something just a little try. And I definitely got myself in a pickle with it because there's kind of a deadline here. And that is with Becky having the Socks for Mom podcast, and we started, chatting back and forth on Ravelry. We have a great deal in common, and when she showed me she posted on Instagram her Wonderland socks as in progress, and I told her how gorgeous they were. I was definitely going to knit along with her, and I had ordered some yarn for it, and I mentioned I had made a bag out of the same fabric that she had bought, or maybe a little different color, but the same fabric. And she suggested to me that I consider making some bags, opening an Etsy shop, and selling them to go along in conjunction with her pattern sale. So I did decide to do that. And it's a limited number, and this is just on a trial basis. I have no idea. I'm not doing my 3-zipper bags. Those bags take me 4 hours to do one bag, and I'm not even sure I'm done in 4 hours with one. I was trying to time it once, and with interruptions and all, I lost a little bit of track, but it's at least 4 hours, and I don't think that will work for trying to sell something. And a lot of expense, there's expense involved with it, but then just when you consider that time, and for me, that time is a loss of knitting time. So I don't think I can do that. But a drawstring bag is something that, while there's time consuming, a great deal of prep, they are not as time consuming as that 3-zipper bag. So I have put together a drawstring bag out of Rifle Paper Company's Cotton and Steel Wonderland design. And I chose the periwinkle background and periwinkle coordinated fabric for the bag, and inside there is a patch pocket and another coordinating fabric from the collection, and it is a drawstring, so you can close it up, which is nice for socks, and I think this is a good size for socks. It's deep, so you can get your yarn in the bottom and then have room on the top to put things. And then I also decided I would dye some yarn to match the bag. So I was going for this periwinkle color. I wanted a tonal. I wish I'd thought of doing a gold stellina because this is metallic, and that just would have been a perfect match, but I already had ordered the yarn and I had not ordered it in the stellina. So this is my yarn. I have and my bag, and I have a limited number. I will have some bags and yarn combos, and I will have 3 bags that do not have yarn to go with them. So just where you just buy the bag separately. And the difference in that bag is it does not have this fabric on the inside, because I'd measured out and decided just to do 10. And then I had extra of these 2 fabrics. So I thought, well, I'll do 3 more, whatever I had fabric for, but I just didn't have enough lining. So I used a quilted quilting cotton lining on the inside, which I actually like because it's very light inside, so you can see things in the bag. But I will offer that as a little bit less price point because the quilting cotton is less expensive per yard than this fabric is. So I will be opening, at least for a very short time, an Etsy shop, and I will put the address down here for you, and put it in the show notes, and maybe I'll put all that just below the YouTube video so you don't have to navigate elsewhere. I'll put some very basic show notes down there and include that as well. I'm going to have this go into my shop tomorrow, Thursday, December 7th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will make that go live. Now, I say that's presuming I can figure out how to do that. I did set the shop up. I put one bag in it, had my daughter buy it just to see how everything worked and make sure that it did work. But for the timing part, I didn't do that. So hopefully I will do the timing and understand how to do it. I've got to work on that this afternoon just to check it out. The site is not pretty because I tried for a while to get a picture at the top and I just kept running into trouble, and you know, I don't want to put any more time into that. Who even knows if I'll ever put anything else in there again. Forgot to tell you, this yarn is an 80-20 superwash merino nylon blend. It is a high twist, so it's an 80-20. It's a fingering weight yarn, and I think I've forgotten, but I'll put it on the tag. It's over 400 yards, or maybe it is 400 yards per 100 grams. So it's either 400 or close. It's definitely not under 400 yards. So this is a tonal color again, and I'm naming it Alice. Okay, so that is the Etsy shop information I wanted to tell you about today. And I will also post that on Instagram when I put it live. I'll go ahead and pop that on there tomorrow. So it's Thursday at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And so now we have some giveaways and drawings to do. Okay, so we have two giveaways today. One is the 800 subscriber on YouTube giveaway, and the other is our finished object sock thread, which I'll keep open, and we'll do the same thing at the end of December. I'll just keep track of whatever the last number was and move on. So for the socks, we have 119, but we had ended last time at 55, so between 56 and 119, and the number was 69, and that is Caitlin King. So if you will please private message me on Ravelry with your mailing address and complete name, I'll get that into the mail to you just as soon as I hear from you. And the winner, what you're getting, Caitlin, is this was a gift to the podcast. I'm sorry that, there we go, that's a little better. From the Cozy Knitter, it is a sock set, and its name is Whisper. There is a mini for your heels, toes, and cuffs. And this was a gift, and she also included this nice little progress keeper. So it's the Whisper colorway, and I have this already, so if you make some socks, Caitlin, soon, I can be twins with you. And the next giveaway was the 800 subscriber giveaway, and that was for this egg carton full of Narwhal Knits minis in a variety of colors, almost a rainbow. And the winner of that is T. Pring, who is Tracy. So T-P-R-I-N-G, who is Tracy. We had 45 entries, so I put in 2 through 45, and it came up with 23. And you were asked to respond to the prompt, what is your favorite holiday song or two? And or if you don't have a favorite holiday song, your favorite song. And I had to laugh when I read this one. She said, Grandma got ran over by a reindeer, and she says, I know, I'm sorry. And also Santa Baby. So I like Santa Baby. I'm not wild about the Grandma got run over one, but very good. I appreciate your sense of humor. So those are our winners for today. We also still have the mitten along and the shawl along, and the socks will continue. So please, if you're doing any mittens or other kind of, it can be fingerless mitts, it can be gloves, things that keep your hands warm. Anything you would knit that would keep your hands warm for that one, and the shawl along, any shawl. And remember, if it's your first shawl, post it twice in the finished object thread, because we want to give you a little extra opportunity to win in that making your first shawl. That would be so exciting to win. There's a shawl quantity of yarn. It's the Flying Goat Farms yarn. There's 2 skeins and a pattern that goes with it too. So I think I'm looking, I have a whiteboard over here so I can try not to forget things. I always do. I'm so glad that you've come back to watch the podcast today. If you are already a member or a subscriber, or you just tune in when you'd like, I appreciate that you come back. If you were new, I hope you found something you think you might like to see in the future. As always, I enjoy doing this podcast for you. So thank you all for joining me. And if you're not already watching, if you're interested in children's literature for the holidays, tune into the Vlogmas. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.